All right, let's talk about something that's poised to completely change how we think about artificial intelligence. We're moving beyond just coding and training and into actually educating our machines.
So, let's kick things off with a pretty wild thought experiment. Picture this. You've got 1,000 robots, maybe drones. How in the world do you get them all to work together, to act like a single intelligent unit on some critical mission, like searching a disaster zone? It's a seriously tough problem.
This is what researchers call the micro-macro problem. And, it sounds complicated, but think of it this way. Telling one robot what to do, that's pretty straightforward. But trying to write the individual rules for 1,000 of them so that they spontaneously create an intelligent group behavior, well, that's one of the hardest puzzles in AI. For years, we've basically tried two things, and neither has worked all that well. First, we tried writing super specific hand-coded rules. The problem? They're brittle. The moment something unexpected happens, the whole system just breaks. The other option is just brute force machine learning, kind of like telling the robots, here's the goal, you guys figure it out. But that's incredibly inefficient and often just doesn't work.
So, today we're going to explore a totally new way of thinking. We'll start with this swarm challenge, then we'll talk about the shift from training to teaching. We'll peek inside what we're calling the AI schoolhouse, see why the human teacher is so important, define the ultimate goal of true symbiosis, and finally, look at what this all means for our future.
Okay, so we've got this huge challenge. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if the answer isn't about better code or more data? What if, instead of just training an AI, we could actually educate it?
And this is really the heart of it. You see, traditional machine learning is laser-focused on one thing, optimizing a model. But machine education, whoa, it's a totally different ballgame. It zooms way out and looks at the entire educational process, the AI student, the human teacher, the lessons, the whole shebang.
So what is machine education, really? Well, it's an approach that actually borrows proven ideas from how we teach people. It's all about designing a structured learning journey for an AI, building up its knowledge lesson by lesson so it can eventually tackle really complex skills.
So how does this actually play out? Well, let's step inside what we're going to call the AI schoolhouse. This is where we stop thinking like programmers and we start thinking like teachers. You wouldn't hand a first grader a calculus textbook and expect them to get it, right? It's the exact same idea here. The heart of this whole thing is the curriculum, a carefully designed plan that takes a massive, complicated goal and breaks it down into a series of smaller, bite-sized skills.
And this isn't just some vague concept. Researchers are literally using proven frameworks from human education, like something called the Dick and Carey model. And really, it's just a common-sense process. Figure out your end goal. Break it down into the skills needed. Set clear objectives. Decide how you're going to test for mastery, and only then do you figure out how to teach it.
But you might be asking, does this stuff actually work? Oh yeah, big time. In one study, they tried to teach an AI a simple task. Without a curriculum, it had about a 5% success rate. Pretty bad. But with a structured curriculum, the success rate skyrocketed to 91%. That's not just an improvement, that's a total game changer.
And the secret sauce here is that it's all about the student, the AI. The lessons only get harder when the AI proves it's ready. It starts with something super easy, and once it masters that, it moves on. It's like a personalized learning plan that makes sure the next step is always a challenge, but never impossible.
Okay, so a curriculum is great, but every schoolhouse needs a teacher, right? And this is where it gets really interesting, because the role of the human here is, well, it's probably not what you're thinking.
Check this out. It turns out how we teach makes a massive difference. In one experiment, when a human teacher tried to micromanage with low-level commands like, move here, now stop, the AI only succeeded about 20% of the time. But when the teacher gave high-level intuitive commands, like simply saying, collect the swarm, boom, the success rate jumped to 75%.
So why? Why is there such a huge gap? Well, this quote from the research really nails it. Basically, being a micromanager is just plain exhausting for the human. It creates this huge mental and physical workload. Teaching with big-picture ideas, on the other hand, frees up the person to think strategically, which leads to better teaching and a way smarter AI.
So all of this, the schoolhouse, the curriculum, the teacher, it's all leading somewhere. We're not just trying to build a better tool, we're trying to build a partner. We're aiming for what you could call true symbiosis. So where is this road actually taking us? What's the final destination? Because it's not just about getting a task done a little better, it's about fundamentally changing our relationship with technology itself. Okay, get ready for a cool new word. Symbiomimiosis. Sounds intense, right? But if you break it down, it's actually pretty simple. It's the scientific name for a real, stable partnership. A way for humans and machines to really, truly work together as a team for the long haul.
Now this is fascinating, and it shows something most of us probably get wrong. We assume the goal is full automation, right? Human out of the loop. But look at this. The highest level of partnership, that symbiomimiosis we just talked about, doesn't happen there. It happens in the middle, under shared control. The sweet spot, the real partnership, is a balanced team.
So let's bring this all home. What does this shift from thinking like a coder to thinking like an educator really mean for our future?
Well, for one, it completely opens up who gets to build AI. You don't have to be a coder anymore. An expert, a farmer, a doctor, an artist can become the teacher. This means we can build AI that's more transparent and trustworthy, because it's been taught by people who really know their stuff. It points to a future of collaboration, not just replacement, where we can even teach machines our values.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. Because as this way of thinking takes off, the role of AI teacher isn't just going to be for PhDs in a lab, it could be for any of us. So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. If you got the chance, what would be the very first lesson you would teach in AI? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.